I don't believe that this is a coincidence. By this, I'm referring to everything. How could it be a coincidence that I'm here right now, miraculously? You're here, right now, miraculously. We're born with 5 fingers on each of our hands and 5 toes on each of our feet. And we're born with 2 feet and 2 legs and all of the, I'm not that into anatomy, even though I do art. I'm not all that familiar with all of the components that make up the human body, but there's so much, that makes up a human being. Like, just our body alone, what are the odds that I have, like I said, 5 fingers on each of my hands, and then I have, a brain to think, and I also have eyes to perceive and see the world around me, and I have legs, but not only, like, do I have legs, I have feet, so that I can walk. I have a stomach, I have a mouth, so that I can eat food and keep myself alive. I have not only a mouth to breathe out of, but I have a nose as well, and, as like a backup. Yeah, all of these things make up the human body, so that we can live. How could anybody, and I've been there, I've thought this way too, but when you really think about it, how could anybody believe that any of this is a coincidence? Now, I'm not saying, I don't quite understand why. My camera keeps wanting to move. I don't quite understand why. Like, why I'm a human being, why you're a human being, why I have all of, why I'm miraculously able to live in this body. I don't have the answer to that. I'm not gonna say that it's this or that. I'm not gonna pretend to know why, or to convince a person why, because I don't know. I have beliefs I'm trying to establish, but ultimately I don't know why. So I can't sit here and try to convince you that I know why when I don't. I think that when you're running late, some days things just are happening that are making you run late, like you're stuck behind, you're stuck in traffic, you keep hitting all the red lights, whatever. I believe that there's a reason why that is happening, and it doesn't mean that you will always know the reason why, because I do not think that you will, probably the majority of the time. But has there ever been times where you're running late or whatever, and then you saw an accident right around the area where you were gonna be going through, and if you had been on time, has it ever crossed your mind that maybe that could have been you instead? And you could choose to get upset about the fact that you're running late, or you could feel and trust that you are being protected and choose to look at it that way instead. I don't believe that your being here is a coincidence. I don't believe that my being here is a coincidence either. I don't believe that a lot of things are coincidental that happen, I think I want to say that I don't think that there's any coincidences at all, but then again, I don't know. Maybe some things are coincidences, but I definitely don't believe a lot of things are coincidental. How is it that, we are born into this world where we're given everything that we need. We're given food, we're given water, we're given oxygen. How is that even a possibility? How did everything line up so that is even possible? How when you really think about it, how can you believe that you don't have a purpose for being here, that life is meaningless or pointless or anything like that? Like, the amount of things that have to work together, the amount of things that have to align. And sure, not everyone is born with 5 fingers on each hand. Not everyone is born, unfortunately, not everybody is born with completely functioning bodies. Alone, to just be alive is, how incredible is that, regardless, to just be here. I feel like there's so much symmetry in nature and in human beings. It's incredible how symmetrical we are. I don't feel like a symmetrical person. I've always felt that I'm very asymmetrical in my face, but how is it that I am symmetrical? I have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 sides of my face. I have 2 hands. How incredible is that? Yeah, symmetry in nature, like a snail's shell or a honeycomb. A lot of comparisons in nature to, human beings. I've seen photographs comparing our veins to lightning in the sky, to the roots of trees. Our fingerprints compared to a tree stump ring, the rings on tree stumps, are veins compared to the veins that are in leaves. Our lungs compared to the branches and leaves of trees. Those sort of comparisons. We're able to comprehend language and develop skills, do art, write, read. We're able to do all of these things. That is no small feat. Obviously, when you're alive, it's you get accustomed to these things so easily and you don't really think about them very much. And most people are just trying to survive and do what they gotta do to do that. I think that it can be easy to lose meaning in living and just lose sight of things that matter and lose appreciation for things, the act of being alive. What are the odds that an animal's fur coat changes color so that they can camouflage with the snow in the wintertime to avoid being hunted, as a way of protecting themselves? How could that possibly be a coincidence? That feels so intentional. I'm not gonna say that I know, but does that not feel intentional? A fox's fur coat will change color to camouflage with the snow in the winter. It's like, how could that even be a thing if this was all a coincidence that we were here? How could everything align up so accordingly like that? It just, wouldn't things make a lot less sense if that were the case? You know, things go so accordingly in nature that I just don't believe that it's a coincidence. That there isn't something orchestrating something, you know, be it maybe the universe or God or something of the sort, whatever you want to believe, you know. I have other examples of how things don't feel coincidental to me, like chameleons being able to change color to blend in with like nature. I don't really know that much about chameleons. Like, I don't think it's like how they're depicted in like cartoons where they can literally just, you know, change to purple if they touch a grape. Like, I know it doesn't work like that. Stick bugs, how do they look like a stick, you know, to blend in from not being like hunted or preyed on? Like, how does a bug turn into a stick? How do certain animals camouflage with nature? I've seen photos where it's like, try to find the cheetah or whatever, and I literally cannot find it because it blends in so well with nature. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is, why is it such a stretch to believe that there's something like greater than ourselves, or to believe that things like manifestation are bull, or just are so out of touch with reality or whatever? Why is it such a stretch to believe that there's a reason for, you know, your being here, that there's a reason that you were born, that there's a reason that I was born? Why is that so crazy to think? You know, why is it so unbelievable to believe that things are working out for you, that something is protecting you, that you can get what you want in life, that you cross paths with people for a reason, that people serve purposes in your life, you know, that we learn lessons in life and all of that. You know, why is that so unbelievable? Just think about it. Why is it crazy? Why is it crazy to believe that your thoughts dictate, you know, your life, that they are a reflection of what is around you? And why do you believe that you can't have what you want in life? Why do you have like limiting beliefs? Maybe all of this is like very obvious, like, well, yeah, we have 5 fingers because of evolution, and yeah, that's why we exist. And I don't know. I'm just saying that when you really think about it, like, what an incredible thing that is. Think about it.